I'm going to show you how to make spiders. These are my spiders. I made these two yesterday, and I'm going to make two more today. And I had enough folks tell me that they wanted a how-to on how to do these guys. That's what the underside looks like. And one of the nice things about these is the legs are wire, so you can pose them. You could even make one attached to your face or something. Pretty easily attached to one's face. I think Scratchy would probably do better there. Maybe make the eye come out facing you this way. I don't know. But anyway, so this will be a tutorial, how-to as it were, on how to make eyeball spiders with Gangula. So here will be the materials to make these spiders. One, you need some wire cutter. I'm using some aluminum wire as opposed to steel wire. Easier to bend, easier to cut. I'm using two different hot guns, big hot gun to fill the eyeball, little hot gun to do the detailing, the glue, drill, two different sized drill bits, some string, cut to various lengths, some 6-7 inches, some down to 2 inches, some liquid latex, a brush that you will sacrifice to the liquid latex gods, something to put the liquid latex in, pair of pliers, ping pong balls, some paints. I've already cut the wires. Let's see here, that looks like about 18 inches or so. Really, that's up to you. And I didn't want to have to paint the eyeballs, so picked up a skull at local grocery store, and I'm just going to pop the eyeballs here out and use those. So I'm going to pop those out right now. Okay, eyeballs removed. Took about 20 seconds. So you start with your metal wire and you give it a bend in half. So now I've got bent in half there. Then I unbend one side, and final result is basically I have a U-shaped bend in the middle of these wires. Now why did I do that? Well, when I thread these into the ping pong ball, I want something for the hot glue to hold on to within the ping pong ball, so the wire doesn't spin, because if the wire spins then you're going to have the legs spinning around and that's not going to look good. So that's why those are bent like that. Now I already pre-drilled my holes in my ping pong balls, but used a fairly small drill bit, really just the diameter of the wire I'm using. Doesn't really matter what diameter of wire you're using. And drilled 3 holes on one side and 3 holes on the other, like so. And I drilled a bigger hole, which is where hot glue is going to get dumped into. So that's pretty straightforward. So how do you get the wires into the ball? Okay, well, let's get some of these guys that I've already done here. I just bumped that out of the way, didn't I? There we go. So there it goes in, and then Really, you just spin that around and spin and spin, and eventually, there, get the wire in. Alright, so I'm going to do that for the other ones, and I'll be right back. And now I've got 3 wires poking through ping pong ball with a hole in the top, and again, each one of these wires inside is a little loop, and that's what the hot glue is going to grab onto when I fill the ping pong ball full of glue. Okay, finished my second one, and I'm about ready to start filling these now up with the hot glue. And once I'm done filling up with hot glue, I will then do sort of an initial run along these guys with drippings of hot glue. It won't be the only run, but just sort of doing the baseline, if you will. I will also use my eyes that I just ripped out of the skeleton. And in this case, I'm going to make one of these guys kind of be looking up. So as though he's crawled up really close to you, and now he's looking up at you. The other one I'm going to do kind of rearing, so it's going to be up on its back 4 legs, kind of tilted up with its 2 front legs, kind of like that. Which, say, since you can pose these however you want, you don't have to really worry about how they're looking right now before you fill them with the glue, because once the glue gets in there and sets, those will be in there rock solid. So I'm just waiting for Captain Heat Gun here to heat up. And of course, during that time, I went ahead and have gathered up my drill and my wire and my cutters for the wire, and I've already gotten those out of my way because I'm done with those tools for this project. Alrighty, so I'm in, let's see here, 5 large glue sticks, and my ping pong balls are full, not that you can tell, and I've done a layer on each side of the legs with a bit of hot glue. I'll put in more, but this was just to kind of get things going and to kind of prep the metal, so when I start adding my strings, here, strings, I'm going to start putting the strings kind of at strange different angles coming from the body, quote unquote body, the eyeball, to the legs, and when I attach the, and that'll let the string, I'll just use the tip of the heat gun, and it'll attach that string to the leg very nicely. So now it's time to put on the eyeballs where I want them, and pose the legs roughly where I want them, and I'll show you where I'm at that point. Alrighty, eyes are attached and legs are posed, and that's really the only difference between where we were and where we are now, is I've posed the critters. So this one I want to kind of looking up at you like, huh? Well, oh, you caught me. I was coming up at you. And this one I wanted sort of the more them look from the film Them, of I'm here to get you. And I'm switching up now my heat guns, or not heat guns, glue guns, to this guy, because it's got a low heat, high heat, and that one doesn't. And since I'm done with sort of the bulk gluing, now it's going to be sort of attaching my string and just putting in sort of detail. But you're already kind of getting this glooping down effect of the hot glue, which for the purposes of this is awesome. Because you want it to look like it's been growing out of something, sort of from, I don't know, The Thing, perhaps. John Carpenter's The Thing. So there we go. Now I'm going to start attaching string and quote unquote detail with the small glue gun. Alrighty, so now we've got strings attached to this one, and literally I just took some nylon braided string and hot glue and started attaching strings. This hot glue is still drying a little bit, but this is going to be the optic nerve here dangling out behind. There we go. So it goes way back there. And then this one, strings are already put in place, but I've already started to cover them with hot glue. And again, there's the back nerve there. And he's looking up, and I've put hot glue all around where the little veins in the eye stop. I'll be able to paint that up. So that is where I'm at. I'm going to finish covering the strings here with glue, and then we'll move on to using liquid latex to kind of give it all a once over, and at that point it will be ready for paint. Alrighty, so I've cleared off all the goo, all the little stringies that invariably happen when using hot glue. Left a couple on just because, well, these guys are stringy anyway. Got their little cute little tails. Another tail there. So now comes painting with liquid latex. Now you don't really have to hit the whole thing with liquid latex. Really, for me, I use the liquid latex to hit where I did the strings. And that's to fill in the braided look of all these strings to make it look, well, less stringy. You're still going to have some braidedness. Maybe using twine or something would be a good idea, but it still kind of gives that strange sort of biomechanical look. So, on to liquid latex. And there, we're done. Really just, I only used a couple ounces of liquid latex. You can see a good fourth of it dribble down to the ground. Now you can save your brush if you immediately wash it while it's still just liquid latex. You wash it and it comes out and you can save your breath. Otherwise, kiss your little brush goodbye. So use a cheap brush. Okay, so liquid latex is down. So what's next? Next is I'm going to put down a layer of primer. And I wish I had my black primer, but I can't find it anywhere. So I'm going to hit it with white primer, and then I'm going to blast it with black spray paint. Now, obviously, I'm not going to zap the eyes. And I'm going to be using some Rust-Oleum high heat black spray paint. Well, because I can't find my cheap black spray paint either. Kind of in the middle of packing, so some of the stuff is just hard to find. So that's the next step. So, and then after that, it's just painting. Alright, so we now have them coated with a primer, and then I zapped them with the black paint, spray paint. Why did I do that? So when I go over with the reds and the greens, the parts that I miss will be black. Those should read as sort of shadows and such. And we got our base coat dark red and some dark green. And again, you get maybe a pretty good sense of the various sort of sinews and ligament attachments that make this fairly disturbing. So now I'll go with some highlighting and then some clear coat. And here we have, that's Blinky. And here's Stinky. You can see the detail. Up above. There's the, so it pulled out of the eye socket kind of thing. And that's saying the idea is this one's looking up at you, and this one's kind of rawr, ready to attack. And there's Itchy and Scratchy. So the host of spEYEders ready to come get you. Definitely, all I did with them just now is finish their highlighting and hit it with some clear coat, some shiny coat to kind of give it that sort of glistening kind of look. And yeah, so there, walking eyeballs, sort of a combination of Re-Animator or The Thing, and who knows what else. Disturbing dystopian future. You know, the government has eyes on you. Who knows? But the only difference between the second set here I did and the first set here I did is I did not hit this one with a black spray paint before painting. So this was a white coat and then paint, and this came with I did a black coat and then paint. So so you got more detail in some of the nooks and crannies, but it does come out to being a little bit darker overall. So there we go. So I hope that helped anybody who's interested in doing a relatively quick, admittedly small, hot project, and hope you enjoyed it. Take care.